What's up, everybody? Welcome to Just a Little Salt, the podcast hosted by me, the Salty Paramedic. If you or anybody you know wants to be on the show, make sure to send a request to justalittlesaltpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the podcast and the work I'm doing for first responders, it's easy. Go on the saltyparamedic.com. Everything there, books, merch, resources, is built around this community. If you're looking for bonus episodes or content you're not going to hear anywhere else, make sure to join the Patreon. Go on patreon.com and search the Salty Paramedic. That support directly helps me keep bringing this content to life. Without further ado, thanks for listening. Here's the show. What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. We are recording right now. It's actually January 1st. The episode will be out a few weeks from now. But my very first guest of 2026, I'm sure you've seen her around, Ashlyn O'Dell. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi. Well, yeah. Happy New Year. My name's Ashlyn. I've been in EMS since 2020. I've been a medic since 2021. I reside around the Kansas, Missouri area. And I had to Google about 50 times when Eastern time zone was, because we're in the central time zone when you said, hey, we're starting at 3. I've done every aspect of EMS. I've done rural, I've done IFT, I've done suburban. I just haven't done flight, which people yell at me every day to do. Have not done fire either. I've been doing content creation since 2021 when I first became a paramedic, and it's became way more than just the side hustle that I thought it was. It's basically become a second job, but it's a second job that I absolutely love doing.
So what made you choose EMS over fire or nursing or any other healthcare profession?
Honestly, this is a horrible answer. I don't know. So when I was in high school,
a lot of people's answer. It's fine.
I really don't. I mean, I was the kid that was always watching. It probably should not condone this because it would make my parents sound terrible. I was the kid that watched Untold Stories of the ER, and I watched Grey's Anatomy with them. So I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be in emergency medicine, but I didn't know like anything about it. And in high school, the only track that I guess was pushed towards females was nursing. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just go into like emergency nursing. And then my junior year, my high school counselor approached me and said, hey, there's actually like a dual credit EMT program that would get you hours for clinical care. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So the back half of my senior year, my cat is driving me insane. She said, hey, why don't you do this? So basically I'd go to classes in the morning, and then at the end of the day, I would go to EMT class. So I graduated with my EMT license. I didn't actually step on a truck though, or know like the difference between a paramedic or an EMT until March of 2020. Like the week COVID killed everything was the first week I stepped on a truck. So it was either the best or the worst time to start EMS. I think that's a pretty big debate right there. I'm taking this away from him, so he'll stop making noise. And that is when I learned, like, this is a paramedic. This is an EMT. This is your role. This is everything. And I was actually enrolled into nursing school, and I was set to start August 2020. And then as soon as I learned the differences between everything, I was like, nope, we're going to go to paramedic school. This is what I want to do. I loved being on the truck. I loved running calls. I liked the idea of we start everything. I liked that we actually got to be the first person to see the patient, to start things, to do things. And I've still, to this day, that's my favorite part about EMS.
Yeah. So did you have any jobs like before you started in EMS, just like, 15, 16-year-old or anything?
No, I didn't actually start working really until I would probably say my junior year. I was a photography assistant for a while in college, just as a weird, I want to get paid to do my homework. I worked at a golf course. When I turned 19 is when I started working in a hospital. I was actually a lab tech. I drew blood, and I will forever condone that to my IV skills. It is one of the best jobs that I had. I always recommend it to people because it does. And it also gets you talking to patients. Like nobody wants to get stuck with a needle. So you kind of have to learn how to tell them like, hey, it's all right. Calm down. And then it's your first experience having somebody pass out and go unconscious on you. So it really did prepare you for EMS. So
No, so yeah, you've done a few different things other than EMS.
yeah,
What's the point you're like, oh man, this job is different than others? Like, when did you realize that?
going into houses. Like, I know that sounds really dumb. You should expect EMS, like, hey, they go to a house, they pick up people. But the first time I saw like living conditions and people being okay with their living conditions, I think is when I realized, wow, this is not in hospital. This is a whole different breed of healthcare. Um, and it is still, like, to this day, it's my least favorite part of the job, but it's also the part of the job where you're actually able to do something too. Like,
Hmm.
you're able to tell the doctor, hey, they can't go home. Like,
Yeah.
the reason they're this sick is because of the house that they live in. Or when you go to the middle of a field to help somebody and you're caked in mud and probably other things, but you still have to sit there, you have to do a 12 lead on somebody. Like, that's when you realize this career is very different.
Yes, it's a lot of adapt and overcome. I stress all the time to the students I precept, like you're going to encounter situations that you've never encountered before, and you just have to make decisions and go with it.
Yeah.
Um, and talking about those living conditions, I stress to my wife all the time because she's extremely OCD. If there's one of our kids' toys on the floor, she's wanting to pick it up right
Mm-hmm.
away. And I'm like, you have no idea how the
Yeah,
majority of people live. And a lot of times it's really sad,
it
you
is.
know, the environments that they live in and everything. But like you said, you have to go back and tell the doc and everything, like, hey, this is what they're going through right now. And, you know,
Oh yeah, the first time I
sometimes,
had to hotline somebody, I felt terrible. I was like, I don't want to describe how bad this person's living, but on the other hand, it's like they can't live like this anymore. So
no,
it's like
no.
something needs done. And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize we have to do is if we walk into a house, like, we can't just ignore that. And hotlining is one of the most important things I think EMS can do, like actually reporting to either social work or hopefully the doctor, and they'll actually do something about it. That's seriously one of the most life-changing things that we can do.
Hmm.
And if you ever get in the back of your mind like, man, I don't want to go back to this house ever again, you should probably do something about it then.
Yes. Yeah. I'll get so frustrated when we make a call like that, and I find out that the crew that a different crew ran on them a few days ago and never said
Mm-hmm.
anything. You know, I was like, we
Yeah.
need to start doing something.
Yeah.
Uh, when you started EMS, I mean, this can be a funny call, serious, whatever. What was the first call you had that was like, welcome to EMS? This is what you're going to get.
Oh, as soon as I saw this on the paper, I knew exactly what call. I was still an EMT. We had just left Walmart. So we have a whole, like, behind the airway seat is full of Walmart bags. And there was a call that dropped, and we were the good crew. We were closer. So we hopped it. We're like, we have nothing that perishable in the back. It's fine. Um, Came out as a shortness of breath. We thought nothing of it. And as soon as we get on scene, get him in the truck, the patient codes. So we are working a whole cardiac arrest. It was also the first time a patient coded in front of me. Whole cardiac arrest with all of these Walmart bags in the back. And we still had to run the call, get to the hospital, patient handoff, restock our truck, and then pull out all of our Walmart bags and then just return to our normal day. That was the first time I was like, dang, that happens. All right.
Yeah. That's I remember one time we had a structure fire, and we had bought dinner, and the big thing, we splurged and got the big $8 pail of Bluebell ice cream,
Oh, that was your mistake.
and it was all over the floor, melted after we got done with the fire. It was so sad. I think we ended up getting like blizzards or something after, so it's fine. What's something people outside of EMS don't really understand about our job?
We don't just run calls. And this is something that I had to realize when I started EMS. We do so much. We take people home. We take people back to nursing homes. We help people from their car to their house when they get home from the hospital. I think my biggest realization of we do a lot more in EMS, and it came from like I'm a grandchild and a provider type of standpoint, is like people realize at 3 a.m. we're picking their family members up off the ground. We're taking them to the hospital, and they will never know. Like, it's one of the saddest things when we get called to somebody that's been laying on the floor for hours because
Mhm.
they couldn't reach a phone and their family members found them. And people don't realize, like, we go to their houses all the time, and they will never know. But the little like weird odd jobs that EMS does is what I never realized EMS does, and I think the general public doesn't realize it either. We have this patient in my area. Every single time she goes to dialysis, we help her in and out of her house because she has all these stairs and we have the stair chair. People don't realize like we do all those little stuff. And without us, those people wouldn't be able to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, fire and EMS, we get called for a lot of things that people, they just don't have the answer. So they call us to figure it out.
Yeah,
And
they do.
That's what we do. You mentioned, when did you start content creation?
When I was a new paramedic, so 2021.
Okay. You've been doing it a lot longer than I have.
A lot of people don't realize how long I've been doing it. I mean, I've had my page since I was in high school, but I didn't actually start posting on it. I posted a little bit in 2020 when I was a student, but not a whole lot. I did not start really taking it serious until I was a new medic. And last year when I went to Fast 25 and we like kind of stacked all of our profiles next to each other. Oh, mine was the oldest for sure.
Now, that was in Lexington, correct?
Yeah.
See, why didn't I show up there? I live like an hour from there.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was great.
Yeah, I heard it was. That's awesome. When did you truly start to realize that the videos you make and post online were resonating with people?
Probably the first video I had go viral, it was a video about TXA. So I had a series where I started talking about medications on the truck, and I will forever stand by this. I was not making them for people. I was making them for myself. I was so scared to lose all of that information I just learned in medic school. And I worked at a service where we were extremely rural and you're not using all these medications every single day. So I started making these videos and studying all these medications. And then I was like, well, why don't I make a video? And why don't I post it? And I do like one a week. And the TXA video, I remember, is the first video that it actually went viral. It was one of my first videos to actually hit 1 million. And when people started commenting on it, I think the comments that really got to me were like, I'm a 20-year vet and this video made me learn something. And I was like, I'm not even a year medic. That's crazy. And I at this point, I had been like 10 videos deep into my series. So to have one get over like 10,000 views was crazy. But when I saw it hit 1 million, I was like, wow, this is wild.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest things because I've been in fire EMS in some sort of aspect before social media was a thing. And I remember when it first started, how scared everybody was and how like departments like pushed people like, hey, do not post anything, zero tolerance.
They still
blah,
do.
Blah, blah. Yeah. But I think a lot are coming around because of the good parts of it, because I can't tell you how many people have messaged me saying, hey, your video, so-and-so's videos have gotten me to look into this job and start this profession. And that's huge for recruitment. So I believe as long as you're using social media for the right reasons and the right way, it's a good thing. So that's why I think a lot of departments are realizing that now. But what would you say would be the hardest part about being funny and respectful to the profession online in your videos?
It is so easy to get canceled when you're trying to be funny, because if somebody catches wind of your video and they don't understand why you're being funny, you're automatically seen as the villain. So I remember my first time, quote unquote, trying to get canceled. It's one of the first videos that I, again, had go viral. It was a video about ketamine. And I think this is still when ketamine was very like, people are starting to come around to ketamine more, but I feel like at this time, even in medic school, we were taught like ketamine is not like this great drug. And I made a video basically about like a psych patient and they needed sedated. And it was a very funny video. I still have it up on my page, even though this is the video that literally I stepped away from social media for like 3 months. I was so scarred for life. This chick made a video and basically like pulled up my school credentials. She posted a video of like a picture of me on my school website saying like, this is this person, this is where they went to school, this is who they represent, and this is the most insensitive video of patients in psychiatric emergencies and all this. And I was like, whoa, okay, hold on. That is not what this was. And I was scarred. I was so upset with myself. I was like, I'm never joking on the internet again. This is terrible. And then I kind of realized like, there's always going to be those people. Like the humor that healthcare providers have, not even just EMS, it's going to be niche to them. And I think there's a very fine line between joking about certain topics and then maybe we shouldn't touch those topics at all. But I think I found that fine line, and I do try to keep that, like, I'll make a joke here and there, but as I try to keep it as professional as I possibly can, especially because I do post in uniform and on duty. It's one of those agreements that I have with every single service that I work for is I won't show your logo, I won't show your truck, but I would appreciate making videos. And they said, as long as I can show this to the chief or I can show this to other people, you're fine. I've never had a video really come into question, and all of my chiefs and captains have always ever followed me.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I mean, I've had a few videos where the comment section has definitely been against me, and at the end of the day, I'm human, and I will always 100% admit when I'm wrong and I'm at fault. But I'll continue to say that every video I post is to bring awareness about the profession, is to bring humor to the profession. That way, people in our profession can find something to laugh at when they've had a crappy day.
Yeah.
So I'll always have the best intentions in mind, but I'm also, I'll admit when I'm wrong, like, hey, that was a bad video. My bad.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, that fine line is what needs to be found when you do these type of things online.
Yeah. Well, and I think it also, and we had just said this before the video started about the Sleepy Medic. So I don't know if you were around when the Sleepy Medic scandal went around. I don't remember even what year that was, because I wasn't horribly big into social media just yet when that scandal went around. So I kind of want to say it was 2022, 2023. He had made a joke about a call, and it even hit providers wrong. It was not a good joke and stuff. And I will say I didn't agree with his joke either, but I think where the fine line was really met was people were judging him as a person and a provider. And I was like, no, that's not what I don't agree with that. Like, yes, we say stuff, we joke about stuff, but one video does not define him as a person and a provider. And that is where I think that teeter-tottering on that line. Now, if he would continue to make those videos and continue to make those shows, okay, yeah, now we can start questioning that a little bit. But I truly think that like one video, one thing, it does not define who you are as a person or a provider.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, we were talking about him before the video. I just want to say that I had no clue who he was until after I made my account, and I don't want people thinking I copied off him. But that being said, I have no clue about what happened scandal wise, but I do know that I watched a lot of his videos, and that dude did a lot of good.
Yeah, he did.
Seemed to have a good following and posted good content. So I don't know. That's why it's so important, because the internet can be a beast.
Oh, the internet sucks sometimes. Like, I'll make the most genuine, like, heartfelt video, or like right now I've made a lot of content surrounding my new job, and I mean, I'm raw and I'm honest with people, and when I tell about the things that suck, and they're like, oh, you haven't been in this long enough, or this is what I do every single day, it's not that bad. And I'm like, but your struggle is not my struggle. Like,
no,
I'm talking about something that bothers me, and so what, you do it every day. It's different for me. One of the things that I've talked about a lot on my page is the schedules and how I'm really struggling with a new schedule. And they're like, well, I've done this every single day since the day I started my career. And I'm like, good for you. That means you're used to it. I'm not. I've done a different schedule, and you may hate my old schedule. You would probably say the same thing. Like, the internet is just so armchair quarterback. It sucks. But on the other hand, you meet some of the best people on the internet.
Yeah. We'll pivot real quick to just EMS humor, just relatable stuff. What EMS stereotype do you think is 100% accurate?
Oh, we're the most unserious people in the whole world. You will 100% catch us with cartoons, probably playing 24/7. We will have the worst pranks. We will have the loudest and most unserious music on the way to like 5-car pileups. We are seriously the most unserious people. But on the contrary to that, we are serious when it matters.
Yeah.
Like my favorite video, it showed up on my page about a couple weeks ago. It's these two providers that are cracking up in an elevator, and the caption is like, POV, the crew heading to a cardiac arrest. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. It's very true. But as soon as those doors open, we snap into it.
Yeah. Now, you talked about blaring music. I mean, we've blared music on the way to structure fires and cardiac arrests, and it helps. I don't know how, but it helps me.
It does.
It gets me in the zone.
It does. It reminds me of that video. It was Alex Jobber's video of the firefighters that are being the dominoes with the mattresses, and how the comment section was so 50-50. They're like, oh my gosh, this is the most unprofessional thing ever. But then on the other hand, it's like, no, I hope they're like this, because if they're coming back from my child that just went into cardiac arrest, I hope they're having fun. So if I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We do the most unserious things in the whole world, but we will show up and we will do our jobs.
I forgot all about that video. That was actually, I stitched that video and then she stitched my video talking about it. And that comment section, you're exactly right. 50-50. And it's just because people don't know. And those type of environments really help us. Now, don't get me wrong. It can get too far, especially in firehouse culture with, hazing and stuff like that. But I remember my first code on the way there, how much I was shaking and just, I couldn't like mentally concentrate and everything. But now I can play tunes and I'm just in the zone. It's just,
oh, my first cardiac arrest, I was Googling placement for an IO. I was so nervous. I was so scared. And I think what made it worse was my first cardiac arrest as a medic. It was a guy that was very close to my age. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was actually the second unit called because I was the paramedic. They were a BLS truck responding. And it was a nightmare. I was so nervous. I was so anxious. I was one of those rare paramedic students that never worked cardiac arrest in FI. But yeah, now I just, it's a normal thing now.
Yeah.
And you will sit there, you'll talk about your lunch or you'll talk about something. But as soon as we step out of trucks, like we turn it on. We're able to focus on when it matters. And that's what people don't realize.
Yeah. What's the funniest thing a patient has ever said to you at the worst possible time?
Oh God. I will always tell this story because it stunned me. We were on a structure fire. This is a kind of recent call. I want to say it was exactly a year ago. Structure fire. We were told nobody was inside. We had pulled our cot out, and then we all of a sudden just see somebody coming out of the front window, like a couple stories up. And we're like, oh no, please don't jump. Well, ended up being an unhoused person. They came out. She is head to toe covered in soot. And we're like, oh my gosh, this person's going to have the worst airway. She's going to have burns everywhere. No, she had no complaints, nothing ever. Got her in the back of my truck. She doesn't want to go with me. I'm just trying to get even just a set of vitals on her. She asked me if she could suck on an alcohol pad.
Wow.
Like, she was not worried about the amount of soot in her mouth or in her nose. She wanted to suck on an alcohol pad. And I was like, no. Why? No.
Yeah, no, I've had people that were in structure fires that I've taken to the hospital and they've been asking for a cigarette en route. It's
I had never heard somebody. I mean, I've heard of the mouthwash, I've heard of the hand sanitizer, but sucking on an alcohol, but that was new. Especially when I can't tell where your skin starts because you're so black head to toe with soot. It was insane.
If EMS had a warning label to people, what would it say?
Bring a lot of uniforms, because you're even if it's not even that nasty of a house, you're gonna feel nasty after calls sometimes, and you're gonna change your uniform or want to change your uniform about 50 times
Oh yeah.
in a shift.
Yep. I agree with that. On this podcast and my videos, I talk a lot about mental health in our profession. How do you personally decompress after a bad shift?
It kind of depends. One thing that does help me, I have a pretty long drive to work. So whether it's listening to a book or a podcast, really like turning off EMS. I don't let myself, this sounds horrible, I don't let myself listen to EMS podcasts to or from work. I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I need to turn it off. I will listen to you on my off day. I cannot do it right now. So whether it's finding the most like bizarre podcast to listen to or a random audiobook, whether it's blasting music, that's the first thing I do. I completely shut off EMS. When I come home, I am a pretty big gym goer. I love going to the gym. This more recently year, I've gotten a lot into cooking. Like establishing some type of routine has really helped. Whether it's as soon as I get home, I start making breakfast. I take a shower. I allow myself 1 or 2 episodes of something. When you have a routine of like, you know exactly what's going to happen when you get home, I feel like your mind is able to have control. Whereas on shift, we sometimes don't have control, especially after rougher calls. So
Mm-hmm.
that has really helped a lot.
No, I'd agree with that. Yeah, on shift, we have a bad call, and a lot of times you're still there, so you have to go somewhere else and do something else, and it's hard to concentrate
Oh, yeah.
and think about what you need to do. So it's definitely easier once you get home, as long as you stay in that repetition. I feel like your content creation. Would you say it's helped or hurt your mental health overall?
Probably both. I think it's helped in the aspect of I'm able to express how I felt about calls or how I feel about the culture or the career. I'm able to express what I feel like should be different or what has hurt me, what has helped me. And just talking about it helps. Reading people's different perspectives helps. But on the contrary to that, it has also destroyed it. Social media comes with pressure that you would have never expected. And I feel like in this career, like, I mean, paramedics compare themselves to each other all the time. Well, imagine having now 200 paramedics judging you for your call instead of just your coworkers. It sucks. It really
Mm-hmm.
does. Whenever I post story times about calls and I am explaining my thought process thoroughly through a call, no patient harm was done. The patient ended up being fine. Everything could have gone flawlessly during the call. And I'll still have 300 comments of like, but did you think about this? You could have done this. What does your protocol say? Because my protocol has me do this. And I'm like, that's cool for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Have you ever thought about stepping away from EMS because of burnout? Have you ever had that run across your mind?
Oh, I can, and I have 100%. Whenever I feel I've gotten to the point where I can easily recognize burnout, especially on the job. On social media, I mean, I take steps back all the time. Even this last year, around August through like December, I think I took easily like 4 or 5 breaks. Even just in the past 2 weeks, I didn't post very much just because I wanted to kind of get through the holidays and
Mm-hmm.
just the exhaustion of, call volumes have went up, home life and stuff like that. The burnout has always increased. Especially this year, when I started my new job, it was a completely different atmosphere. And I found myself burnt out like the second week of my new job. And I really had to think about like, what do I need to change? I will always advocate for a change in atmosphere is so refreshing, whether that's asking for a new partner, asking for a different shift, switching trucks, switching stations, finding the little things that you can change is so refreshing to your mind because it's something new. It's something new and stimulating to your mind.
Yeah. I've always agreed with that. You know, sometimes you get stuck at a certain station or on a certain truck, and it is you don't jive well with the people there or the
Mhm.
person, and you can go. That person can go to a different station, and they'll be a totally different employee.
Yeah, they will.
It and that's a big part of. I feel like sometimes administration doesn't do a good job about it because they won't take their concerns seriously, but um, at the end of the day, you can be helping out that employee a lot because if they just stay in that toxic atmosphere,
Yeah.
it's not going to be good for any parties involved.
Oh, yeah. I made a video. This was about a month ago. And the results actually, or comments, really shocked me. It was one of my soapboxes is I firmly believe EMS should not have permanent stations. I firmly believe that they should switch stations. They should rotate, whether it's monthly or however they do their rotations. At my work, we do it by rotation. So every few weeks or so, you'll be at a different station. And then the comment section was like, oh, absolutely not. I would hate my job. I would thrive in my station. I would be miserable if I had to go to others. And I'm like, but how do you think people feel if they hate the station they're at? Like they're stuck. I loved having a change of atmosphere. It was so nice, especially even at my favorite stations. If I'm just having a bad time, like I'm having a bad month and I'm like, I need out. I can't do it. I'm like, okay, I have 10 shifts. I have to get through 10 shifts and then I get to go to a new atmosphere. And it's so nice. It's like a nice like start to the month. It's great.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So we're going to shift into these new set of questions, just life as a woman in EMS. So I spoke to you about this before the podcast started. You posted a video in December. It was a giveaway video where basically
Mhm.
people had to tag their favorite EMS content creator. Um, you have so many people, like, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, so many girls probably in high school that look up to you, and they're like, hey, I want to do EMS now because of your videos. uh, how's that feel to just be somebody that young girls look up to, and a model for them,
It's nice
essentially?
because I didn't have it at all. I didn't meet my first woman in EMS until a solid like 6 months into my EMT career. And it was very isolating. You don't realize how, I don't want to say dominated, but truly like dominating this career was. Even just back in 2020, I was one of three females, I think, at my service. Uh, at my old job, I was the only female on my shift for a very long time until we had a couple others come on. On my current shift, I'm one of two females. You don't realize how isolating it really is. And now I have these amazing and powerful women that I look up to in EMS. Some of them are my best friends, but when I do see those comments, it's like, it's comforting because I know I didn't have that. And if I
Mhm.
can be that for someone, it makes all of the crappy things about social media or this career worth it. Uh, Kind of going back to the armchair quarterbacking comments and stuff, like, yeah, they suck. But when I do see these videos or I do see these comments tagging me and stuff, I'm like, it's so nice.
Mhm.
I will never forget how I felt as a new EMT. And I always had to go on ride alongs with these grumpy instructors, or my first FTO ever was a male. And it was one of those males that I'm like, you really should not be in EMS. Like, it was
Mhm.
such a demeaning FTO and beat me to a pulp when it came to training. And it was so refreshing when I got switched to a female FTO. And it, like, not talking down on men whatsoever. I've had my FI preceptor in paramedic school was a male and he was wonderful, but it was nice because you had someone that you could relate to.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure males feel the same way sometimes when it comes to
Mhm.
other males, but it was 6 months into my career before I met another female. And I'm like, that's not okay. So the fact that I can be that for someone is like healing my little EMT self.
Yeah. No. I've witnessed a lot on scene. Female providers I work with. Some patients, just the type of things they've said to them and
Oh, yeah.
treated them different. What's the most unhinged thing a patient has ever said to you because you're a female?
I don't know. I saw this on your list and I'm like, man, I can't think of a lot of unhinged. I mean, obviously we have the mean
That's good.
things.
Well, that's good if
Yeah,
you can't thank you.
it is. I mean, I've had the hands up my legs. I've had, like, when I go to start IVs and I pull their arm over and I'm like, hey, no, I didn't put your arm there. You're going to put it back. I've had those things happen to me all the time. I had a paramedic student with me 2 summers ago, and he was a male, and he couldn't find an IV. So I tried to start an IV. I had a patient just tell me no. I was like, nope, I trust him more. And I was like, okay, you trust the student more. That's great. Good for you, I guess. It ended up being it was a male to male thing. I'm like, whatever,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. Can't imagine. That's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And I'm like, well, you know what? You're choosing your patient care at this point, buddy. All right.
Exactly. You're not going to fix everybody's way of thinking, unfortunately. But
No.
hopefully, at the end of the day, we can just bring awareness. What would you say to any young women watching this right now that are wanting to enter EMS? What advice would you give them?
Oh gosh, find your voice and find it early. I cannot tell you, it's so frustrating how many times, like, people start giving report to your partner and not you because you're the smaller female on duty. Or when I worked at my old service, we always had, like, our credentials across our shirts. Mine didn't have one. And I was usually partners with, like, the lieutenant or the captain, and they were not always paramedics. So I'm still the higher level of care on scene, but because male, we see a high credential on their shirt. Oh, we're going to go to them first. We're going to look at them for the comfort. And I'm like, okay. I've walked in one time, and I probably should not have said this, but it was at an urgent care. I walked in with my partner. I was, like, unhooking the cot, getting it ready, pulling it down. I walk in the room, and I noticed that the report had already been given. And my partner kind of looks at me like, here's this. And I'm like, I know you just told him everything, but he is not going to be taking care of them in the back. So I'm going to need you to repeat absolutely everything. Just the small little things that you would think with the amount of women in this career would not be a thing anymore. But it's a natural thing. People look at credentials, they look at you, and they're like, nope, we're going to go to this person first instead on scene. So finding your voice very early, walking onto a scene, making eye contact, saying, hi, how's it going? I'm the paramedic taking care of you today. What's going on? Like, early. Finding that voice early is going to be the easiest thing to get through your career, even to the fire or police on scene or the other EMS crew on scene. Making your presence known as soon as you step on that scene is the most important. Not in an arrogant way. We're not arrogant women. We are humble women, but we also have to make our presence known, because if we don't, we're going to get railroaded.
Yeah. I always talk about that. Command presence is so important. And a lot of the new medics I precept, a lot of them struggle with that because they're young kids and they're not used to, just talking to strangers and being that voice. But that's something you have to find. And even my paramedic ride time, my preceptor, he had to be like, you got to talk to the patients more. You got to make it known that you're that guy. And, you got to find your voice along the way.
Yeah. Or a common thing that I hear, because my kid really, really suffered with this. I say kid, my student suffered with this, talking to other providers, like saying to the firefighters or to the police officer, like, what they need. I'm like, because they know they're young. So it's I don't want to disrespect you type thing, or I don't want to tell you what to do. And I'm like, but you have to. Like, you're not, they know, they expect it. They expect, hey, I need this BVM. Hey, I need you to grab this. They expect it. You're not demanding them. You're not ordering them around. This is what they're there to do.
Yeah, that was something I struggled with the most, because I was 24 when I got my medic, and I was telling 50-year-old fire captains that were my dad's age what to do. Yeah. And that's weird, but it's
very weird, but you kind of have to. We had a call, and my paramedic student was very close to my age, and it was really hard for him to tell the fire captain to get out of his truck. Like, we had like 6 people in the truck. It was crammed enough with the 3 of us, and he struggled with it. And I was like, dude, I can't move. Like, you need to get out of this truck. But the paramedic student was like, I don't want to be disrespectful. Like, They're trying to help, and I'm like, but they're not. And
Yeah.
you're in control. You have commanded this scene. If you can't help your patient, tell them to get out of your truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell them to go back. They'll more than gladly go back to station, sleep in the recliner.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll switch real quick and talk about EMS culture and system issues. What part of EMS culture do you think needs to be changed the most?
Culture specifically, I will never understand, and I struggle with this now. Why are we so judgmental when we haven't been on scene? I mean, I catch myself doing it sometimes, but especially I'm the new person right now at my job. And I have caught so many people talking about my calls or talking about what I did or something. I'm like, you weren't there. Like, why are we doing that? The patient got to the hospital. The patient is all right. They got to definitive care. I did what I was supposed to do. If you would have done it differently, that's great. But I always tell people there's a difference between asking why they did something and judging them for why they did something. And it's all in the way that you approach it. And that's what's going to destroy this culture. We're a very insecure culture. One of the projects I'm working on right now is how paramedic students are being taught. They're taught to need assurance. And it's because of this culture in EMS. They know they're going to get judged. They know they're going to have a million questions to answer when they get back to the station. And that's not okay, because then they're going to start questioning their patient care. Should I have done this differently? And the answer is usually no. The answer is usually you did fine. But because you have these thousands of armchair quarterbacks that think they could have done it any differently, it ruins their confidence, and it can ruin confidence of even the most seasoned providers.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been, luckily, a lot of the stations that I was present at when I first started, they were very good about not doing that. They didn't question me. They went along with the decisions I made. It made me a very, very confident medic.
Yeah.
But I've also seen stations where people will, like you said, nitpick everything they do, that medic, and it's no good. It's no good.
No. Unless you are physically there on that scene, you laid eyes on that patient, I don't think you have a whole lot of room to talk about what you would have done, you know?
Yeah. But at the same time, though, I've also seen captains at stations that are present on the scene, and the medic is not doing a good job, and they're just quiet about it. I'm like, this is a good learning experience.
Yeah.
You have to don't call them out in front of everybody. Take them to the side and say, hey.
Oh, yeah. Can you walk me through this call?
Yes. Yeah. That definitely is an issue. What keeps good providers in EMS despite, we don't get paid good, there's burnout? What keeps them in the job?
I could make a whole, I'm trying to build a presentation about this right now. I had an interview here recently, and it was, what will keep you with this job? I have never been asked a question like this in an interview before. And I said, the atmosphere. If you put me with a good crew, I can talk to them through calls. I can talk to them after calls. I can sit in the day room and feel comfortable and hang out with people. When you have a good atmosphere, it keeps people in the job. The title of the presentation I'm working on is I didn't leave EMS, I left the station. And it resonates with me a lot because I will be very honest with people and I say I've left jobs because of the atmosphere. I love the job. I love running my calls, but the calls are not the hardest part about the job. Is coming back to the station where the whole building feels like it's suffocating. It's negative. It's just, my own home feels more peaceful than this. But when a station is a home for 10 days out of the month, you kind of have to have that feeling as well. So if you have a good atmosphere, people will stay in the career.
Yeah. I've been very, very thankful for every station, every crew that I've been with. It's felt like at home, like a home, truly.
Yeah.
And that's why I mean, I've had periods, burnout, and questioning, what do I want to keep doing the job? But the station life has always been the same. I've always been excited to go to work, and that's a huge part of it. The crew you're with.
Those have been the signs where I've said I need to change something. I will talk until I don't have any more air in my lungs. the last job I had, my crew was the best. My crew is the reason I went to my job every day. It didn't matter who my partner was. It didn't matter what truck I was on, what station I was on. We all got along because we came, we did the job, and we went home. But during those times between calls, we're hanging out. We knew each other. We were able to communicate with each other. And it was just nice. It's nice to have a crew where you have to be with someone for 24 or 48 hours at a time. You have to be able to build a bond with them in some way, shape, or form. So if you can't do that, if you're constantly feeling like you need to lock yourself in your room the whole entire shift, from the moment you get back from a call to the moment the next call drops, I think there's a problem somewhere. If you don't even feel comfortable to walk out into the kitchen where everyone else is sitting in the day room, there's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of stations like that. Everybody kind of just does their own thing. There's no camaraderie. It's very, very bad for everyone involved.
Yeah, it is.
Something that I struggle with understanding, because I've witnessed it throughout every department I've been at, and I just don't understand how supervisors or administrators, that there's a disconnect between them and the field crews, even though that's where they came from. So what's something that supervisors or administrators don't understand about field crews?
Why are we still running the same schedules that they ran, but our call volume is doubled? Oh my gosh. I could talk probably another hour or so about the 24-hour schedule, and I don't know why EMS is still adapting it. But something that we're struggling with right now is call volumes are continuing to increase, especially when towns are getting bigger, cities are getting bigger. And the problem is you're not doing anything about it. You have the same number of crews you've had for the same decade, and you're burning them out. You're exhausting them.
Yeah.
You expect them to run upwards of 50 calls in a 24-hour period, only split between like 3 or 4 trucks, and then expecting them to return for the next shift. Like they're miserable, they're exhausted. But the answer is always, well, we had our busy days when we were on the truck. And I'm like, yeah, your busy day was probably 10 calls, not 50 calls at all. So why are we not doing something about trying to take some of that stress off? It's not the same at all when they were on a truck.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I've seen a positive response to a lot, because there are departments that are shifting, especially in the fire service. I've seen that are shifting to 24, 72-hour schedules instead of 24, 48.
Yes, and I think it's an amazing change.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll continue. Like more departments will pick it up, because I've heard nothing but positive responses about it. So it's a no-brainer.
We're trying to get that adapted at my old job. They do the 24 or 48. And now I would speak volumes about the 24, 48. I didn't mind it. I never did. But the more I'm seeing the increase in calls, I'm like 72 hours, that extra day would make such a difference than like the schedule that I currently work, the California swing or the Kelly swing, whatever people call it, the Berkeley. You have no break. And that's the biggest thing. Like you have to wait until you have that 4 days off to have a true break. And I've only been doing it for 5 months, and I have been burnt out more times in this 5 months than I have in like the 5 years that I've been a paramedic.
Yeah. Yeah, that extra day would be huge, because like my last shift day, we ran all night on the ambulance. So I came home and I passed out on the couch, and I woke up at like 10 a.m. to my 3 kids like in my face, and my wife sitting on the couch. And I'm like, I didn't sleep the whole day away, because I woke up a few hours later. But there's been instances where I've slept the whole day away, and they're like, oh, now I only have 1 day to take care of everything we were going to take care of in 2. So it's hopefully one day. We'll see.
I would like to see a schedule that kind of adapts more to a nurse or a police officer. Like whoever thought that EMS providers should be working 24-hour shifts, I kind of just want to have a talk with them. Like, why are we doing that? Some services I can see where, maybe 24 hours kind of makes sense. Like if you're extremely rural, like I've been in the very rural services where I didn't do anything for 24 hours. Yeah. But I've also been the rural service that did everything in 24 hours. So I don't necessarily understand sometimes why somebody hasn't put their foot down and been like, if nurses can barely handle their 12 hours, if PD can barely handle their 12 hours, what makes you think that EMS can handle the 24?
Yeah. I've got a few EMS questions just about the job. What's your go-to gas station snack on shift?
Oh, that's easy. I have like a sweet, a salty, and a savory. So I always grab some type of beef jerky stick, like a fatty stick, or the little Jack Links with the cheese stick and the meat stick. Usually, if they don't have the cheese stick in there, I try to find a cheese stick somewhere. Some type of bag of chips. And then I'm a big dark chocolate person. I love finding something with dark chocolate, or the peanut butter M&Ms is usually what I go to.
Ooh, those are good. I'll agree with you on that one.
The best
Would you
gas stations
rather?
are the ones that have them in the cooler section.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. Would you rather have a partner who's completely silent or never stops talking?
I don't know, because I feel like I'm the partner sometimes that never stops talking. So, probably the one that doesn't stop talking, because like I'll match your energy. But
Mhm.
sometimes having a silent partner, I'm like, are you mad at me? Like, or did we do something wrong? Like, are we
Yeah,
good?
I agree with that. Do you have any song that instantly reminds you of like work trauma, for better or for worse? Like,
Ooh, I don't think so. Most of the time, song like we've had good songs that come on. Like I don't think there's any that remind me of bad instances. No.
uh-huh. Okay, that's good. Talking about your content, where do you want your content to go in the next few years? Where do you see yourself going?
I see. I told myself I'd like to go away from the short form content and go towards the long form content. I'd like to expand into making videos into CEU content for sure. Like, if you're going to consume my content anyway and it's going to be educational, like, you might as well get something out of it.
Mhm.
I have already gotten these opportunities. I'd love to see them continue. I'd love to keep going back to conferences.
Mhm.
I'm right now scheduled to speak at one conference in 2026. I'm working on a couple others, and I would love to see that continue. I just, it's crazy to me that social media and content creators going to conferences and just like meeting everybody, it's so surreal. It's so much fun, but it's even more fun to like make people realize like I run the same calls as you,
Yeah.
and it's super fun.
Yeah, I've had so many people come up to me like, "Are you still on a truck?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I don't
Full
just
time.
do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have ideas for videos if I wasn't on a truck.
Yeah, literally, yeah. That's also something that's really hard, and I don't think people realize is when I've had conferences reach out, and I'm like, you realize I am taking PTO to come to your conference. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
kind of have to work this out first. And the craziest question I did get was, "You're still working?" And I'm like, "What'd you think?" Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What's a goal that you have that might surprise people?
ooh, I don't know. Um, the goal is not CCP. I still don't want to fly.
Hmm.
Um, I'm finishing my master's this year. I would like to see education eventually in my future. Um, I have a big goal to make CEU content. Like, I want to create a course that people have access to. I told people I want to be like another Alex Jobber. Like, I want people to pay me and come teach.
Yeah.
That would be a very large goal of mine.
um, what's the most EMS brain thing you've ever done on duty or off duty? I'm sorry.
Ooh, ooh. I don't know. That's a good question. Besides, I will find flushes and stuff in my pockets and stuff. Like, shoot, I'll use them. Like, I have a bunch of piercings. I'll use the flush. I'm like, it's saline. I'll
Yeah.
use it. Um, Probably, I don't know. Probably an awareness thing of like, I know I have something on my hands. I need to not touch them. Kind of like when you're wearing gloves.
Yeah.
That's a big one probably. Or like how
um,
awareness of like how dirty my hands are because I'm not wearing gloves.
yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that. What's one thing that EMS has given you that you're grateful for?
probably people skills like socialization and stuff. You would not meet near as many people in healthcare without being in a healthcare field. Like you talk to people every day. I don't want to say you have to put on a face every day, but the amount of social skills that healthcare providers have to have is insane. No matter if we're telling people good news, we're telling people bad news, we have to explain to people what's going on. The amount of socialization that is in this career is something that I truly don't think a lot of people realize.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could say one thing to your EMS younger self, what would it be?
Ooh, there's a lot. Probably stick with it. I mean, there were so many times especially, like I said, I went through COVID being a brand new provider, and it was so hard, especially because I work for a hospital-based service. So we're now adapting to the hospital policies and taking all of these protocols and basically twisting them around. I would just say stick with it. It ends up getting so much better. And the amount of people that you meet, the amount of things that you're going to have to do, it's so rewarding. Like when I was able to say I got my medic license at 20, it was insane. When I am able to say I'm finishing my education at 25, like it's been so rewarding. But I would have never done any of it if I would have continued to go towards the nursing track or any other track.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's that's all the questions I got. It's been a pleasure. Do you have anything you'd like to tell the people about anything coming up or to look out for?
I have a lot. Where do you want me to start? Literally today on January 1st, I'm announcing my private tutoring business. That is going to be extremely exciting.
Oh, wow.
I will be in Metro Atlanta on February 5th and 6th. That's going to be my first ever speaking conference.
Awesome.
I'm very anxious, but I'm very excited about that. And so far, that's the only conference I have planned. There are several that I've applied to, so we'll see. But I will for sure be in Atlanta on February 5th and 6th.
It's we'll probably run into each other at some point because that's something I've started to get into, and it's extremely rewarding getting to meet people and just talk about and try to teach people things that you've been through.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Y'all
you
make sure to check out her private tutoring business. Is there like going to be a website or?
Yeah. So the website's going to be linked in all of my social media platforms. There's going to be 3 different courses. There's private tutoring. I have a guiding course on how do we do our job. So it's basically people can come to me and we will sit down and figure out like what path is best for them in EMS. And then I have an ECG happy hour where it's 10 people per hour and we do nothing but look at ECGs. It's going to be so much fun. People can submit their own. And those are the 3 I have right now. I have a couple others in the works, but I am extremely excited to launch it.
Well, you need to advertise to fire medics for that ECG course because he'd probably make a lot of money. I'm just saying.
I'm pretty excited because I've never seen anybody do anything like that before.
Yeah.
Where it's not really I'm teaching. It's we're just going to sit in a circle and talk about ECGs.
No, that's a great idea. Well, y'all go check her out. I'm sure it's going to go great. So once again, thank you so much. Everybody tune in every other Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern for a new episode of Just a Little Salt. Thank you again to Jens for sponsoring this podcast, and I'll see you all on the next one.